I'm gonna ask Supervisor Howard, if you don't mind, give us a prayer this morning.
Sure, would you bow your head, please? This morning, our Heavenly Father, we come thanking you for another day. The Heavenly Father, thank you for the blessings that you've given us. The Heavenly Father, we want to ask that you continue to protect us. And the Heavenly Father, give us the mind to do your will for the people of our County. We ask now that you bless the leaders on the national level, on the state level, and on the local level. And the Heavenly Father, please bless our military soldiers as they stand abroad. These are the blessings we ask in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen, amen. Thank you, Supervisor.
Yes, sir.
At this time, we're gonna go ahead and proceed with our meeting. We have the approval of the September 2019 board orders, which are in our package, rather. What's the pleasure of the board on those board orders?
Just wanted to make one correction on the back page, on the second one. Those on the second group, one item, number 20, that wasn't private property, that's the stumps from the storm.
Stumps from storms.
Yeah, I think it says on private property, but those were, they had put those stumps all together on Palomino Drive.
That's right, I know something.
Are there any more corrections?
This on the 13th meeting, yeah, that wasn't, yeah, that's where the stumps from the storm, that was still having to be picked up.
You want me to mention that was from the storm?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted him to put in there, that's from the tornado.
Anything else? If not, let's get a motion second to approve. Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public voting sign. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you all very much. Moving right along to the next item. Citizen comment period. Are there any citizens here this morning that would like to approach the board for up to 3 minutes? You may come forward and do so at this time. Seeing that there are none, we will move right along. To our next item of business, which is Mr. Morgan. Checks, tag, personal property, and homestead lease.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
First order, we have a couple of homestead deletions, need your approval on, please.
First request, what's the pleasure of the board with the request? Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
I need the board clerk to sign. Also, I have a bad check insolvency list for past year. I'd like to get approval on this as well, please.
You've heard the request. Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning that motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
I need you to sign that, Mr. Frank. I also have the uncollectibles on business personal property for the past year. I'd like to present that to the board for approval as well.
All right, you've heard the request. What's the pleasure on that request?
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning that motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Sign that also, Mr. Frank.
That was for the uncollectible.
Business personal property.
Anything else, Mr. Morgan?
Yes, sir. Also have the uncollectibles on mobile home for the past year. Need to get approval on this as well.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions concerning that motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Get your signature again, Mr. Frank. Final order of business will have the surrendered tag list for past year. Tag's been surrendered. Need your board approval on this as well.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
need your train on, your signature on this too, but that's fine. That's all I have, Dre. I wanna thank the board.
We thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work that you and the office does for the town. Mr. Check, good morning, sir. Come on around.
Y'all
Good
are
morning.
good.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Not much y'all, but my business are happy for rain. In your, I believe it's in your packet, if you'll recall, last year, we, started an EMT program to teach folks here at the hospital that are our firefighters, instead of them having to go out to EMCC. It's more cost effective, they learn on our equipment, and they're, lack of a better way of saying it, they're street ready when they come out of the classroom and through the test. We were successful last year, and the community colleges agreed to renew our program for one more year, and that's the crux of what that agreement is. Basically, the language, I believe the only thing that really changed was the dates on it, so.
Well, I think it was successful. I don't remember the number. How many graduated from that class?
There was, I hope I don't mess this up, we got firefighter school going on right now, but I believe it was 14.
Okay.
And, we, you know, the first one's always, I think, the hardest one, the shakedown. In the classroom, it was fine. Personally, from an administrative standpoint, have figured out a way to lose less hair on it this year. But momentum's building, and I think this is one of those things that we're gonna see a long-term benefit from. It's not the short-term gain, it's the long-term. We'll look at it 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and be really glad we did this.
I thought that some of the students, they said it was hard, but it was rewarding. And we had firefighters from all over Sturgis, Raven, all South, just all over.
I'm glad they said it was hard, because if they walked in there and said they knew it all, there's no
They
dangerous
said
person
it
on
was
the
hard,
street.
but it was rewarding.
I mean, it's worth it, and even if they don't use it in the service of the county, in your own home, you know, it's beneficial. You're out on a camping trip, so I think, like I say, long-term wise, we're in a good place, better than most.
I move it.
I just have a question about it.
Yes,
I
sir.
know that, Octavia County, we, pay the $100 affiliation fee.
Yes, sir. It
for-
covers the
for Apple,
administration,
yeah.
because the college has to
Yeah.
sign off on all the paperwork, send things to the Department of Health on our behalf, whatnot.
Right, but there's no other cost. It looked like something about books and things like that.
Well, we buy those in-house, so instead of the college funding that, you know, we were gonna buy books regardless of whether they went out there or came here, but we're also allowed to choose our textbook as well, so that gives us a little control.
Great program, great program. Y'all doing a good job.
Trying.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Miller. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk vote saying. Motion passes unanimously.
That's all I have, unless you have any other questions.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Appreciate all you do for the county. Moving on to the next item, Ms. Benson, ARC contract.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Benson.
The Mississippi Development Authority has given your ARC project environmental clearance. So we are ready to move forward with that grant after a long process. Anyway, nonetheless, we could not sign any contracts prior to receiving that piece of paper, which gives you environmental clearance. So I bring to you this morning a resolution and a contract approving Golden Triangle Planning and Development District as the administrator of those funds. I have a contract in the amount of $25,000, which will be $6,000 from the Appalachian Regional Commission grant, and then $19,000 from the matching funds for that project. So I have the resolution selecting Golden Triangle Planning and Development District and a contract.
Motion for approval.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk vote saying. Motion
Okay.
passes unanimously.
There are quite a number of signatures, so if it's okay with you, I'll just pick these up later today. Is that okay? Great,
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your service. Okay. Road and Bridge update project. Mr. Clyde Pritchard, County Engineer. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, all.
What was it, I packed it?
I didn't know if it was anything. On September
Yeah,
nineteenth,
this ad.
we took bids on ERBRF 5303 and 5304. It's a combined project on Sun Creek Road. We had 4 bids, 4 competitive bids. Our low bidder was NL Carson Construction. His total for the project was $936,910.74. I've reviewed your ERBRL funding. Here's we have $966,126.50 available for those 2 bridges. My recommendation to the board is to accept the low bid of NL Carson Construction.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor McDermott. Are there any questions concerning that motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk voting center. Motion passed unanimously.
Now to go back, if you'll remember, I gave you a letter on August 28th of 19, our prior board meeting concerning the Longview-Edenton Bridge. At that time, this project was underfunded by ERBRF, and I made a recommendation to you by letter to fund the deficit through your LSBP funds in the amount of $161,844.29. The board at that time wanted to wait and see how the Sun Creek bids come in, and we just acted on those, so I would respectfully ask that you reconsider your Longview-Edenton Bridge.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Miller. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk voting center. Motion passes unanimously.
So Attorney Robertson, I'll actually need 2 orders. One to award to NL Carson in the amount of $655,814.92. I'll need a second order to transfer LSBP funds to that project in $161,844.29.
Where did that leave us overall? We were overall under budget on all of the bridges combined.
I haven't put them on. You talking about with the ERBRF?
In other words, if there's any left over, I think I told you about, I don't believe we can use that on another.
You cannot. I mean, they explicitly said we can't
It's
transfer
specific for those bridges.
on one road.
And where are we on the city?
Well, that's next.
Before you go, I think they may need clarification on those amounts. You got those amounts?
Give me the amount for the ML Carson bid again,
On which one?
for the Longview.
His low bid is $655,814.92.
And I asked.
All right, we need to transfer LSBP funds in the amount of $161,844.29.
Got it.
And then finally, we had a short quorum before. This is the program. Ma'am?
We need an order for funds transfer. Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning that motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk voting center. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, and then finally, this is the actual program form that establishes the project, the LSVP project for the Barnett Drive Bridge here in town. It requires signature and order from each one of you. I've only got Supervisor Trent at this time.
Are we gonna need?
Need
So
a
why-
order, need a,
Yeah, but are we gonna need easements?
no.
Okay, because, the mayor said that they would help get those if we did.
We're doing preliminary engineering, which is a little bit ahead of the order right now.
So you need signatures on that?
I need an order to establish this LSBP project on it, and then I need signatures on this program.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the
Is that
motion?
gonna be a concrete bridge, or that's gonna be,
Gonna be a box culvert.
box covered, right, and starts the city did, I guess they. think that's okay.
I'll pass this around if y'all can signature there.
All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk of the voting center. Motion passes unanimously.
While you're signing, Poorhouse Road appears to be on schedule. Mr. Coates come in, done us a pretty good job on that project. County Lake Dam, we've completed our estimate, we've gotten all that information to Kristen. I'm finalizing plans for the slope repair on the jail now, and we've got an updated estimate for Kristen under the grant funding for that. That's it. Longview, you're not seeing much activity on Longview Road right now, but just because pipes are being ordered, silt fence being ordered, materials are being ordered and requested for the job, so they'll be out there soon.
Have you talked to, I'm just asking, have you talked to Combs and Stone, or I know they finished compacting this last weekend and leveling it out. We're just waiting now for soil cement, right,
That's right.
and overlay, pavement.
The soil cement and chip seals, all they like, and they're on board to do it. The last schedule was the 10th and 11th, which would be the latter part of their week, if this rain didn't kind of slow them back.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, I just want to share that, they did a really, really good job. This is the first time we've worked with them. They have done what they said and worked 7 days a week. They had some clay gravel that was balled out that did not test, and they had the integrity to send that clay gravel back, so we weren't in the same position again. There were 6 or 8 trucks lined up that morning to dump that clay gravel, and it would not compact enough for a road, and so they sent it back and went to a different pit, and you can't drive a nail in the compaction of the ground right now. It's compacted so hard, so I do want to say that they've done a great job, and if you have or haven't seen it, it's moved really, really quickly. And now with the rain, we'll have to wait, but the next step is just for Combs and Stone to come in and finish up.
Okay, that's all I got.
Anybody got it?
Yeah, I have a question. When we contract with soil cement, who's controlling the amount of soil cement that goes into the earth's surface? Are we to be there on site to control the amount that goes into that surface?
What we've done, and you see our invoices, yes, I have David Harrelson and Clint Markham out there. And what they'll do is when that truck delivers, he's got X tons or pounds of cement on the truck. We know how far that's supposed to go down the road, so they'll monitor that when he incorporates it in there. So if we've developed a bid package for you like we did on Thompson or County Lake, we're controlling that, and then when you moved out to Rock Hill or some of these others, we sent David and Clint out there just to monitor.
And those are the ones that are being contracted roads, but the roads that the county is constructing, with county forces.
Then we sent David and Clint out just to monitor the soil cement portion of that.
Okay.
What Mr. Griffin did, Larry Griffin was more construction.
Down at the end, we've got a culvert request for the Grace Land subdivision off Craig Springs Road. It's just access for the road. Where are we on that permit?
Benny is trying to get me a flood statement. We went through his permit application. He had 2 or 3 things that he had not done. He's got very little, I'd say, professional help in doing the permit. He's trying to work through it on his own. So he owes us a flood statement right now. Just a floodplain statement, and his surveyor should be able to provide it.
This request will be to give grant access to the property, so for the culvert, but, I just wanted to see what we want. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pritchard.
Thank
You have a great day.
y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Britton.
All right, moving to the next item, Blackjack Road update. Mr. Chris Loudon. Good morning, sir.
Morning, board. I hate to clear the room, but this is pending litigation and property acquisition, and we'll be talking about negotiations of the property and potentially purchasing 2 tracts today. So I would ask that the board go into executive session if it pleases the board.
Move that we go into executive session to talk about acquiring the property.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Miller. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk voting center. Motion passes. Thanks.
I need a motion to move approval of the special warranty deed between Campus View Drive Associates LLC as grantor and Ocklawaha County, Mississippi as grantee, conveying and donating 0.029 acres for the expansion and improvements of Blackjack Road, Ocklawaha County, Mississippi.
Board met in executive session and no action was taken in executive session. We have a motion by Supervisor Williams. Is there a second to the motion? Second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public vote sign. Motion passed unanimously.
All right. I need a motion to move approval of the warranty deed between Elizabeth M. Hillen, deceased, Walter Reed Hillen III, and Jane Elizabeth Smith as grantors in Ocklawaha County, Mississippi as grantee for the conveyance of tract 1 containing 0.012 acres and tract 2 containing 0.09 acres or 0.009 acres for the expansion and improvement of Blackjack Road in Ocklawaha County, Mississippi for the negotiated value of $5,000.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning that motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public vote sign. Motion passes unanimously. All right, moving to the next item. Mr. Rogers, Blackjack Voting Precinct. Good morning, sir.
Currently use Blackjack Church as a voting precinct, and I just want to motion that gravel put on the voting lot. But during the last election, it rained and it was hard for voters to get in and out of the parking lot.
There's a need for those gravels to be put, behind Blackjack Church, for parking purposes going forward. So, motion for approval. That we move forward with putting gravel behind that, behind the church for parking for voting purposes, voting precinct.
Got a motion, that's second.
I agree with
Apparently because of the voting precinct at the church, correct?
Yeah, the voting precinct at the church, right.
And they're actually using it for parking and go in and vote and that sort of thing. So it's got a public use to what we're doing. And how big is this area, just from my own perspective?
That's not very big. That's not very big.
We're just basically making sure that people can get in and out without getting stuck.
Right, that's basically what it's
Called
happening.
the audit department, and you can do that, but you can only do it during times of voting.
Right.
Like now it's voting time, and so we can do it now to allow them people to get in to vote, because we can't do it on a regular basis.
Okay. That was my secondary question. in my
People
mind.
they are gonna get stuck, and we don't put gravel.
Yeah, eventually it's gonna be a problem.
I knew we could, upgrade both precincts, and I just didn't know how far we went, but, okay.
Now, you
I was
can ask
asking-
them about
yeah, I'm
it in
good with that,
church.
but to kind of piggyback on that, and like I said, you know, the Blackjack, church certainly needs some work, if it needs work done on it, but all our voting precincts, and of course, I'll get with Mr. Baggett on that, but to make sure, like Longview, out there at the central, you know, at that fire department, make sure that we've got gravel, et cetera, on all of them. So,
Then we need to, amend the motion then to.
sure, I mean, to do blackjack, but then to make sure all our voting precincts, that the bathrooms work, that the heat and air work, and the gravel
Yeah, I just want
situation
to
is
try to
safe.
get done before the November election, because it's a problem.
Cause I know you're coming, but there are other folks that they may just tell people like myself to pass it. So, certainly, as long as we'll get all the, you know, voting.
So that's an amendment to the motion?
Right. So what we're going to do, we're going to address the Blackjack situation, and then we're gonna address other situations that other voting purposes,
Sure.
to make them accommodate. Got a motion?
That's
You
it.
accept that amendment?
I accept the amendment to that.
Good. So we got a motion second on the amendment to, address the Blackjack Road, Blackjack precinct, adding of gravel, and also other conditions at other precincts as needed prior to the election.
Such as like bathrooms.
Yes, sir.
Any questions concerning our motion? All those in favor, let me know by the public vote sign. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown. Appreciate the work you do.
Thank you.
Road manager report, Ms. Bagley. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Ms. Miller, this item on the county bill, is that gonna be this code, it to be installed by county?
Yes,
Make
it's
a
two of them.
motion. Two of them.
So I mean, I don't mind making a motion on that. Number one, Hamel Hill Road, it's already been marked by the resident, they're just wanting access to their property. So I am asking for a board order to place a culvert in at number one, Hamel Hill Road.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, is there second by Supervisor Jennifer? Are there questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk vote sign. Motion passes unanimously.
The second one is Grace Land subdivision that's being built off of Red Springs Road. It's easy to see, they've already started going in there clearing. They would like a 60-inch culvert placed in there, is the request. And that's to grant them access. You heard, Engineer Clyde Richard saying they're finishing up on their permit. They are beginning to, clear the property now, and so they would like to have access to the property. So I'm placing a board order to put a 60-inch culvert for that subdivision, grant access.
Got a motion, there, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there questions on the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk vote sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Specific type culvert, I mean, I'm sorry. I guess a metal, concrete,
I'm sorry?
is that a specific type? Will metal be okay, or do we have to put concrete,
They're not plastic.
not plastic?
This is Craig Spring too.
It's Red Springs Road.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have, I mean, we don't use metal culverts.
It's too big for,
The metal one would probably be like
yeah.
galvanized.
I think you can get, I think, yeah, I don't think you can get it if it's,
We can put a metal one in there, we can put,
that's 5 foot tall.
Put them together.
Well, no, I think you talking length or height?
You talking about the diameter of the culvert?
I think you talking about,
Yeah.
6, big, not 5 feet, yeah.
60 inch around.
right,
Yeah.
much is
So
all
I think you can.
just a metal culvert,
They just requested that,
okay,
to go into that, cause it's gonna be a bigger area right there going into that subdivision.
yeah,
60 is a big ditch that they got across there.
The ditches are huge.
No
They've already
problem.
dumped some red dirt in there, they're already clearing,
Yeah.
they just dumped some red dirt in the ditch right now, but they're, you know, the contractors felt like that's what was needed, and I asked Clyde about it, so,
there's no problem with it, I just didn't know if you wanted concrete or metal,
whatever's gonna last the longest.
okay.
Questions? Well, yes, sir.
What's the difference in the cost?
That's a big difference in the cost.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think probably the metal will be okay, it's gonna last how many years?
As long as water doesn't sit in it.
I mean, the metal already is cheaper than a concrete, I think that's probably fine, they just requested it that big. Okay.
Supervisor Williams?
Yeah, I have, these are some new property that was purchased by Christopher Smith on Hill Road, about a fourth of a mile, down Hill Road, and I have the recent purchase with me of that property. And he too is requesting a covet to be put in on Hill Road, 1/4 of a mile, and he has, marked that site. And of course, these are deeds to that property and recent purchase of the property. He just wanna get to his property, he doesn't wanna build anything, just wanna have access to his
Who's
property.
that? Who's the person?
The person is Christopher Smith.
Got a motion, Mr. Williams, is there a second? second by Ms. Miller. Any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
I guess while we're doing culverts, and I'll add one, is that, Robert Odom Road and Old Highway 12. I was out this weekend and we may have a hole in that. It's a metal culvert, but it's probably 30 years old. So, just letting material get in there. It's kind of back in the ditch on Old 12. So it's gonna be a large diameter. I don't know if I think it's 4 feet to 48, I think. But just double check that. That's it. I just need a motion then to do that.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Miller. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk voting sign. Motion passes unanimously. Anything else, Mr. Banks? I have one thing that I want to, I thought we had a board on it, but as we did some research, I think we never did take action on it. On Ridley Lane at 156 Ridley Lane, we've been dealing with some drainage issues there. We discovered that we need to get onto the private property to do a little clearing to allow that water that goes underneath Ridley Lane to keep on going to the main structure, to the main drainage district. And I'm requesting that the board authorize the road department to enter into private property of Mr. Ed Davis at 156 Ridley Lane, just for the purpose of opening the ditch so the water can flow underneath Ridley Lane and flow to the ditch area. We've had several concerns, complaints from Mr. Davis. I think I have pictures and everything where the water was getting to his property, into his home, brother. And then also the neighbor, I think he was having some issues too. So we looked at it, and Mr. Baggett has recommended to me that we need to enter into the private property. And Mr. Davis is going to execute that paperwork that needed. We just need a board order before we can do anything. And hopefully we'll get it done whenever. So that's my request to the board.
How far of a section you think you're gonna have to figure out?
I'm gonna say, what did we say, Mr. Baggett? Maybe a couple hundred feet, maybe?
Yeah. It's probably close to 300 feet.
Right, it's a ditch that's been there for years, but it's got overgrown now with some kind of trees and whatnot. So a few trees in it, and I'm thinking that that one of the other neighbors is gonna let us do a, open that. But we will remove whatever is cut down or pushed down, we will remove it. I wasn't gonna say we're gonna do like we normally do, but no, we do that. We just remove whatever takes out of there. I don't wanna create that problem. Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known out by the vote sign. Motion passes down.
County goes and picks them up, and in the past, they've delivered some garbage cans for me, because I turned my truck over years ago before we bought trucks. Just want to clarify that there's still not any issues with that, delivering garbage cans out of the county. The road foreman normally takes it when they're riding the roads, but I just want to clarify that nobody has any issues with that.
I
didn't follow what you said.
She was talking about, in her district, her road foreman puts the cans out, I'm assuming that's what you're saying.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it.
But if we need a board order for it, I wanna go ahead and get one so there is no issues.
I think you're well within your powers that you currently have to be able to do that, but since you brought up the garbage thing, I think we do need to have a further conversation about the possible audit.
Yeah, right. But I put some information, it's hard to decipher, I hadn't had a chance to decipher it, but we'll talk about it.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about it. But I guess what you're asking is to have in place to but ask the foreman to go pick up the garbage can and deliver it for you, is that what you?
Well, we've always done that, that actually started, when Victor was here. After I turned my truck over, I do not have a county truck, and so I turned it in, and it's never been an issue. There are two on there, so I just called the central shop and asked, but I wanna make sure that if there are any concerns that we address them today, because for all these years, the foremen ride down the roads anyway, but they just drop off a garbage can if it's requested to be delivered. And like I said, if I have a chance, if it's something close, then I'll get it, but, a lot of those out in Sturgis, you know, the shop is out there, I do ask them to pick them up. And while we're doing that, if there needs to be clarification, we need to clarify that the county road department goes over and picks up the garbage cans and brings them back to the central shop, because we don't have a board order for that either. I mean, and that's what they're doing right now, so.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't wanna vote something that's gonna force a foreman. If I call the foreman up and said, hey, can you deliver a garbage can, and if he tell me, hey man, I'm tied up on this road right here, I really can't stop and go and deliver. I don't wanna have anything in place that's gonna jeopardize his job because he didn't go deliver that garbage can, but I can deliver it myself. So I'm not gonna vote in favor of that. I just don't think we need to be tying up our foremen to deliver garbage can.
Could we,
First of all, I never called the foreman and told him to pull out the job, and I called the central shop, you know, just like when we need garbage cans delivered, you know, I mean, I guess you could turn that situation around and say Mr. Kellum could be picking up trash instead of, on the roadsides, instead of cleaning bathrooms in the shop and going to get garbage cans. So, you know, that situation
I go
could be.
get my own garbage cans, personal truck or county truck, I go pick up my own garbage can, deliver my own garbage can. I just think it's a waste of taxpayers' money when the law doesn't prohibit us from delivering garbage cans. But we can deliver a garbage can to an individual without pulling a high dollar per hour person off to go and deliver a garbage can. That's just my, the way
My
I see it.
opinion on that is it's a waste of taxpayers' dollars for a supervisor to have a truck when we are in a unit system. So, and the contract on actually the trash delivery says that they're gonna deliver the trash cans, not us. So if you wanna get into that taxpayer, situation right there, I turned my truck in, I don't have a county truck.
I just stated I'm not gonna go.
But I think at the time, we don't need to pass taking action on this, just need to keep it under consideration, because I think it may be big implications which you may be wanting to deal with at this time.
How about this, and I've been trying to wrestle with this, no word like it's kind of what he's saying, what you're saying. Instead of maybe during the day, at the end of the day, when they get through, hey, I've got 2 garbage cans, or if it's been a long day, we'll do it tomorrow, but maybe set some time aside this week that they can deliver, hey, I got these 5 garbage cans, this shop's got these 5 or 6 cans, this shop's got 2 or 3, you know, let them work it, kinda like the mosquito spraying, right after, they get done with the day, or, I mean, I deliver my cans, but I can see your position on it.
Now, I'm not saying,
I'm just
if
trying to
the
find a
foreman
happy medium.
wants to, that's fine, but I don't want anything on the books that says he has to. And somewhere down the line, if this guy didn't deliver a garbage can,
The contract.
we talking about on the board jeopardizing his, I just don't want, I don't have a problem with, if that's what, you know, he's got time, I just don't want anything forcing him to have to deliver a garbage can.
The contract itself says that they will deliver
Deliver and maintain.
right, they're supposed to be doing all of this. I think there is some consternation is that some of that's not occurring. But part of that could be handled, as far as that part of it should be handled on the board that actually handles the garbage.
The garbage
board itself. I think what we're talking about here, I think y'all already have the innate power to request something to be delivered. I don't know that you necessarily have to have a hard and fast rule. I think that what we've been doing in the past has basically been that if one of us or one of the board members needed something to be delivered, y'all were able to take care of it from that standpoint. So I don't know that you necessarily need an order. I think that from both of y'all's perspective, I think you're trying to make certain that we're not doing anything that we shouldn't be doing, and I think you already currently have that power to do that. However, the contract clearly states that they're to be maintaining and delivering these things. The problem that we ran into, or we're running into with this, is sometimes it may be 2 or 3 weeks before they're able to to swap these things out or longer. So I think that's what we run
That
into.
and another issue we ran into when we sort of started pushing this, there was so many garbage cans being, until we just depleted our normal allowance of garbage cans. And then we had to sit and wait until time to renew. We've been talking about whether we need to up the amount that we get, because when we did that, they started going through marking garbage cans and it just depleted.
Right.
Then you had people sitting and waiting on garbage cans to get ordered in 30 days, 60 days before we get those back.
To kind of add on to that and to talk about our number of allotted cans, I don't think we would be having to replace cans quite as much. If you've seen the guys, and I hate to call people out, dump their cans, I mean, no wonder cans break. I mean, they treat them like somebody you couldn't stand. I mean, the way they shape them, I mean, just the level of care for that can, because it's around $100 to replace that for that organization. So just, I think the way they are handling these cans is the direct result of why we're having to replace them. I have to take 6 or 8 every week out, just to try to keep up.
Yep, it's not an easy situation, but as far as I'm concerned, Ms. Miller, keep doing the way you've been doing. I don't have any problem.
So we can deliver, we don't have any problem delivering if we can. Okay.
And that's all I was saying. If they can, that's fine, but I don't want any, I'm not gonna go for anything that forces our foremen to deliver garbage cans.
Well, I've never done that. I call and request, can they take one out on the way home on
Yeah.
Hunt Road?
I do understand
Right by
that.
the shop out there, I mean, that's.
Well, I was just didn't want, we were asking for a board order saying that, and I didn't want, I didn't want to vote on it.
I do share the same, form person, that you share with A-Shop. And I guess my only concern is that they would not be pulled away from their normal responsibilities. Because I like to see them more in my district than they have been in the past. And I hope delivering trash cans will not pull them away, from being in my shop in my area. And I am requesting that they spend more time in this regard.
Well, I think that's a good point to bring up. If you look on here and you look at the work done in the districts, and you do look at, the amount of work that's done, and that's shop B that we share for them and not A. But, if you do look, you'll see the amount of work that is being done, and they went back down in your district to Clip, went straight down there. And your district got clipped last year, and Supervisor Montgomery and mine did not get finished. We were the only 2 districts that did not get finished clipping. So if you look at the actual line items on there, the other districts are getting a lot of work.
Yeah, my district is not getting it. We finally got to do some work in there, but and I guess we do need to address that with the availability of equipment and C-Shop.
Well, Mr. Baggett said, last month that he was going to allow new construction to work on, in District, 4. And then he took them and they're building Theotis Road right now, so, that was his words, is that they were gonna help during the month, but they were working in the district.
I guess my concern.
I think our road manager has said that he can deliver them when he has time, and so.
I guess my concern and my conclusion is that we don't pull them away from their normal responsibility to do something that we could do, and deliver trash cans.
Any more questions for the road manager?
Oh, yeah, I contacted our road manager, was it Friday, about that, huge water leak. And there was, out on Pollybell Road, Edgerton Water Association, there's a gushing water leak out there. And it was coming from, we think maybe some trees. And had him to go and look to see if they were on the right of way, because what did you find, Mr. Bragg? Did you have a chance to?
I have not had a chance to.
Okay, well, what we got, and the determination we need to make, if those trees, we think that's what's causing that water line, that will make it the roots, yes, it broke, and it's a significant leak. And if so, we need to take them down, and get them removed. The Water Association has requested that we would take them down. I think that it's real close to whether or not they're on the right of way. If they're not, we're gonna need a board order to allow the county to go in and remove them. It's two good sized trees. It's right there when you turn off the highway to, on Father Bell going north, just past that little church that sits on the road.
Got a motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery, that we address that issue. Any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk of votes.
I've got one more thing, it's, I think it's 7632 New Light Road, and I apologize, there's another tree that's in the middle, it's dead, and when it splits, it's gonna fall right into New Light Road. We got a string, a tape around it.
We looked at that, that's on the right.
7632, I do believe, it's different, I'll text you.
What about Palomino Drive, and even those other two gentlemen went out there, last week?
Palomino.
The stumps,
We got all stumps up.
you didn't get them picked up?
We had picked them all up except one, very, massive stump. And we managed to somehow get it on the trailer on, Friday,
Okay.
and so we picked it up.
Supervisor Montgomery, that's, you said
7632 New Light Road.
Got a motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams, that we address that issue. Any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk of votes.
Let me ask while we're talking about trees, if there's a tree that's rotten, it's not on the right of way, but if it falls, it's gonna fall across the road. How does that
I think
fall?
we're within our rights to rule.
It's
It's a safety issue, no different than,
Okay.
We need a board order on
There's
it.
Oh,
one,
yeah,
and a right of entry agreement.
And a right of entry agreement, but there's one, I'm watching, I don't think it's at the danger stage right now, but I'm sort of watching it. It's right off the right of way, I know it's not on our right of way, but I know if it falls, it's gonna
I think the correct procedure would be to bring it before the board and get the board given right to remove it, and then the right of entry, and you'll be good. I think the whole point of some of this, some of the things that were occurring in the past were some people's, is to keep you off from having to be brought into things that you don't necessarily, if it falls into the road, that's an obvious
Safety.
right, that's a huge safety issue all the way around.
Okay. On that tree, by the way, on New Light Road, and I hate to cut you off.
No problem.
But when it hits the ground, it can stay there. He wants to fire it.
Yeah.
That's what we want to down.
He just wants it down. It's,
I have one other issue.
Supervisor Montgomery, she said, who's resident?
gosh, that's, Mr. Thompson.
It's in county right away.
Yeah, I think that was gonna be counted right away. If not, we'll get the proper right of entry with it.
Supervisor Williams?
Yeah, Mr. Baggett, we are being mindful of the fact that, there's not much mechanical work being done on the tractors and bush hog and C shop. I do see that, much work is being done in B shop and A shop in repairing their equipment, but there isn't any repair work done so far in C shop on their bush hog and tractor. So I'm glad now that you're moving forward, I believe.
I mean, we're trying to get we're trying to keep those tractors running out there.
Did you bring those prices to the board from Mr. Kirk Bolton, that clips? I know I reached out to him, we had asked about getting some mowing prices, and, he said you had already talked to him. He's from the Jackson area, he mows the
Yeah.
highways and mows a lot of other
Right.
counties.
Yeah, what he was offering though was, 2 tractors that would start in May and work the county by the end of October. I mean, we can get a price for that, but, I mean, we'll be in the same shape we in. I mean, if he just brings 2 tractors and he places them at some point and then he starts to cut, he said by the end of October, he will have cut the entire county.
Well, I don't know, I know he cuts for the city of Memphis and for, MDOT, he lives in Jackson too, so he has more than 2 tractors. And when I called him and asked about that, cause it looks like my district is not gonna get clipped again this year, he said that he had visited with you, and I know the board has requested you bring, prices.
Well, let's move forward and just request for proposals from whomever that does that service.
Okay.
To bring those folks back to the board.
I'll reach out to him then.
So that we get a motion and you get a second.
I'll get a
And
motion.
we're gonna take bids on clipping services for the county.
Okay.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery, that the county entertain a proposal for clipping services for the county.
Miss Emily, let me give you this gentleman's phone number.
Entire county. Any questions concerning the motion?
Yeah, does that mean that we are not gonna look into the possibility of purchasing new, tractors and new bush hogs to be able to fill in if we need to fill in?
I think that's already obvious, we went to purchase. We already know that.
I just would like I think it's very important to the citizens that we don't go 2 years without getting the roads clipped. And I think with all the other responsibilities of the road department, that we need to look at outsourcing this. You know, normally by this time, you know, we're at 60% through. You know, we know it takes a good solid 6 weeks of just doing that in one district and not doing anything else. Normally they're running 3. I know in our district, and I've only seen 2 that have been on the road, so I just would like to make sure that the roads get clipped this year.
And they will get clipped if we purchase tractors. And, limit the spraying to the state aid roads and allow the county to spray the rest of the roads. All the grass will be under control. So let's go and get the proposals and see where we are.
But isn't part of the problem is because of equipment breakdown?
Yeah, I mean, that's the main problem. I mean, you go out there and you got a tractor, you work with the tractor for half a day, and then you gotta work on it for about a day, and it's just over and over like that. I mean, if the county would allow an outside person to spray the state aid roads, and the county would back the road department spraying the other part of the roads, and we get some tractors, we could control the grass. It would never get as high as it is. We wouldn't be, rushed right at the end of the year to run ahead and cut grass. Because we're gonna run into the rainy season every time. And in the past, what has happened is some areas have gotten cut and some haven't. That's just the reality of it.
Kirk Colton.
All those in favor of the order, let it be known by the vote. Any opposed? All motion passes, so
But I'm confused.
we're taking proposals on clipping services for the entire
Okay.
county.
I don't have the information on to take proposals. I don't know how many roads it is, how many road miles it is. Are we gonna do this electronically, or are we just taking oral quotes? I mean, are we taking bids or?
If you're gonna get a quote, the person is gonna have to visit with the road manager, get the number of miles and how many times a year he wants
Actually, you
clipped,
can get that
and
from Toby.
how far he want clip.
Somebody's
We've got a book that we got from Toby with all the roads in it. We got the 911 roads separated out from the gravel roads, and the class 2 roads separated from the state aid roads. And we can give him one of those books.
Well, but my issue is this though, regardless of what information you can get from Toby, and that's great, I don't ever want anybody coming into our county and going to do things to our roads and bypassing our road manager. I just don't think that's the way to handle business.
I can't put out bids for this stuff,
Right,
when I
that's what
don't have the specs
if
and
you're gonna,
everything.
they need to see the road manager.
And if we're
That's what they need to go through.
And if we're gonna do it electronically, take electronic bids on it, so on and so forth, we're gonna get with Mr. Blaylock and give him some specs. Now, we can do all of this, but we can't enter into a contract on it.
I got
But couldn't we, I'm trying to
That's right,
clarify
it's the end of
this.
the term.
Yeah, we can't enter a
Right,
vote, we
right.
can't buy no, we can't buy
Well,
no
I'm glad we was
equipment.
looking at doing anything right now, I thought we were just.
What do you think the money is?
To let him know what to do, couldn't you go by road on the road registry? In other words, Alpine Road is this long, you know what I mean, Beatty Road is this long.
And we
I
probably.
think the other thing that
Add
you
'em
could
up.
do is,
That's how much road weight you have.
you know, Greg Wall has all that in the data system. So it would be really somebody that actually had something that was similar to his. His is all computerized. And so he's the one that does all of our spraying, so he knows which roads not to spray. So that if you had somebody with equipment service, I know we can't buy equipment in the last month of a term, but we can't go into a contract to put the roads in. Well, then there's no need.
There's two things on the table. One is accept proposal and see what it would cost. Two, our road manager just told us, get me some equipment and let the county spray the other roads beside the state aid, and we can handle it. So, look at what's more feasible. If you gonna pay a huge amount to have bring a contractor in, whereas you could buy some equipment with that and use it over and over, just do both of them and then put them side by side and look and see which one is the best. That's the simplest way.
I think too, we need to keep in mind that this equipment is dated back to some of it 1970, in the 70s.
Yes.
In the 70s, so the equipment is gonna break down. Until we get some new equipment, we're not gonna be able to keep up with the road.
Our road manager has done a good job of enacting some things that we've become more efficient and we've become more productive, because of some of the things that he's enacted, and put into our road program, you know? There's nothing wrong with Ms. Miller's suggestion, let's get proposals and look at them, but also let's listen at what our road manager proposed and then compare it to.
Now, we bought tractors in 2004.
Yeah.
I remember the last time we
that's
rode
good.
tractors.
So that's good.
Yeah, but there are some that are dated back.
Yeah, that's still 15 years.
And with the bush hogs and everything, it's 2004.
So once everybody comes back in November, we're gonna hit the ground running and purchase equipment, so we got that ready.
If the majority of the board gets re-elected in November, then we can move forward at that.
After the election, before the new year.
With the majority of the board.
Anybody else got anything?
A couple more things, and I'm sorry to do. The drought, like I said, it's nothing that we've done, but on Lake Valley Road, where we had a contractor come in and redo that road, there are cracks now probably 2 inches wide running down the middle of that road. I'm sure the material they put down in there just caused it to pull away. It's gonna be more than just a hot patch or anything. We're gonna have to take that needle machine, because there's gonna be some deep crevices in there. I'm glad we're getting some of this rain. I'm sure it'll heal them back some, but it'd be good before the winter weather setting in on Lake Valley. It's the very back of it to, like I said, fix those cracks in the road.
That's also in the Polyville Road the other day too.
So I guess that's my motion, is to fix those cracks running through that road.
So we got a motion for, that road and Potterville Road, do that as quick as we can.
Well, I don't have to have a motion. I mean, that's just normal nature.
But I mean,
I just called a work order in already.
but I was gonna tell him, because it's a little more than just a hot patch
Yeah.
or a cold patch. You know, it's something that you may wanna go look at. I'll meet you out there, whatever that needle, we need to fill those cracks.
Was that do we need a board order motion for this, or do we do not?
No, he can go.
Okay, I'm sorry. Anything else?
Chicago Road.
Yes.
We have a drainage problem with the cross drain. And we need to enter someone's property to clean the ditch with the cross drain that goes beneath the road. And it's probably 250 feet. Now, we're gonna only do this if we can get, right of entry from the owner. I saw the owner on yesterday, and he's looking at it. We don't have the right of entry yet.
He didn't like it.
He was just,
Talking about a gentleman that's a contractor.
No, they work with the government. I don't think the contractor has any on his property. I don't think his property interferes with it. It's just, generally just purchased a house. And so he's gonna get back with me. I did go by his house and I was going yesterday, a long time ago.
Chicago,
John White Road.
It's on John,
Is it a 911 road?
No, it's a.
So we gotta, we'll proceed with motion by Supervisor Patel. Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning that motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk vote sign. Motion passes again.
Okay, on John High Road, at the intersection of Chicago Road and John High Road.
John White.
John White, I'm sorry. There's, the mailboxes that serve those people back in there, were lowered because the road was raised. And some of the mailboxes are really literally on that high off the ground. And so I'm requesting that the board allow us to go in and fix a little platform from dirt and replace those mailboxes that need to be replaced because they were damaged and lowered by the contractor when they came through. They just never were replaced.
Got a request, motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in.
We damaged
We
them.
created the problem.
We created the
They're kind of
problem.
falling back, I mean, they're gonna go.
Anytime we do something that harms the property owner's property, we can go back in and deal with that.
All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk vote sign. Motion passes now.
I'm glad you cleared that one up.
On Blackjack Road, at the bridge right there. We're having trouble with this bridge, near Bartwell Road. We had the engineers look at it. The colors that he recommended are like $21,000. And so I'm requesting that the board give the road department to go ahead and replace those culverts because that bridge is it's a short span bridge, one span bridge, 19 foot. And so it's not a state aid bridge. But we need to replace, every time it rains, it washes the end of it out, at the bits on the end of it. And so we need to replace that with colors.
Need a motion?
I do.
Motion by Supervisor Howard. Second, there's a second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions on the motion?
Yeah, you communicated with Clyde in regards to that?
I have. He
And
signed.
you're gonna put cover?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we also can put, concrete, do concrete bridges too. Could we get a bid on that?
We can. I just don't know if it come in time for it. We can do that. But all I'm concerned about is the rainy season. Every time it rains, we have to go and patch that. It leaves a big hole in there.
Let me make a comment here. Mr. BJ normally, there's a person that normally does, concrete bridges for us, a small span. That's a pretty small span.
But 19, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Who is Mr. BJ?
He got upset and wouldn't work. We're gonna get him to do something out on our West Point Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against, I think it'd be better if we put a culvert in. I don't.
Yeah, we had it ended up being a mess. Remember?
Yeah. This needs to be done quickly. And you're talking about 19 foot span, there'll have to be a sizable box culvert and it would need to be designed by the county engineer and, just whatever you want, whatever the board wants to do.
What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is temporarily to put a culvert in there because I feel the bridge is gonna fail now. If the board wants to go ahead with a box culvert, we can put just a temporary culvert in there and proceed with the box culvert and put that in there. But we need to, my recommendation right now is that we do something.
The box cover's gonna be what, 7,000, something like
What?
that? How much is the box cover
The
gonna be?
box culvert for that, you're probably talking about 125.
125,000?
No.
For box culvert? That 19
$125,000.
For that 19-foot span, I mean, that's a LSBP.
Then it has to be, engineering cost, because it has to be engineered, I think.
Have you
It has to be
seen, remember
engineered.
we went down to the coast, they had those, they're 10-foot around metal pipes, 100 feet long.
I saw them.
For $10,000 owns in the hole. You could cut that in half and do 250-foot spans. Think about that. I mean, you could deliver it to Central Shop, get somebody knows how to cut it, you know, just cut it in half. And they're not, I mean, they're not light, but I mean, it's something we can handle.
Right. And if you,
I'll get you some information.
okay, and if you go from a 19-foot span bridge, it's not a state aid project, but if you put a box culvert in a 19-foot span, then it becomes a state aid project. It's a totally different scenario.
Substantially more.
It's gonna cost at least $125,000 for a box culvert.
I just know they haven't cost that much in the past, and we've done some, haven't cost that much. But we have a motion on the table.
Got a motion, any more discussion?
No, I was gonna mention another bridge.
All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
What are we done for?
To replace the bridge on Blackjack Road with the culvert.
Okay.
The retaining wall and the bridge on, the short span bridge on South Ridge Road. You know, look at fixing that, please.
Mm-hmm. Let's say something, Mr. Williams. South Ridge.
Anything else for the road, man?
I had one thing that
South Ridge
I
Road.
did forget about.
The retaining wall on that short span bridge needs to be repaired.
I went and spoke with the Westland Heights, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, and they've got some young children in there, which would be just west of town, Cardinal Lane, Oriole. We need to look at, and I'm letting you know, I'll get with the manager on it, similar to what we did in Supervisor Williams' district in Bethel, Williams Road we're looking at. But there needs to be, they've all unanimously requested to have some speed bumps put in that neighborhood. I'm not a big fan of them, but you know, there's children everywhere. And when I went and spoke with them, probably 2/3 of the people have young children riding on bicycles, and I'll get with him on some signage, children to play signage, but in the Westland Heights subdivision, I mean, I'll make a motion to look at, getting with the road manager on the signage and the speed bumps in that neighborhood.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
You have to have, petitions.
Okay. I'll get with,
that would be a problem.
I'll call Mr. Allen.
Do we need to vote on your South Ridge retaining wall, short span bridge?
It's on the right way.
Is this on the right way, so you'll need a?
Okay, so we just fixed, we fixed them in the past.
Anything else for the road man? If not, let's accept his road manager report. By Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning? Supervisor Howard, I mean, motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Howard. All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk voting sign. Motion passed unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Baxter, appreciate all you do.
Thank you, Mr.
Howard,
Mayor.
did anybody look at those?
Right, they'll be doing our payroll change.
Okay.
All right, moving on to the next item, Ms. Williams. Mr. Bagley, if you can, stay around.
We applied for and were accepted for a justice assistance grant, and the amount just over $5,000. It's $37.56 an award with a $1,252 RN. It's in our budget. We've been approved for it. Just asking to be able to enter into the agreement with it.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions on the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the clerk voting. Motion passed unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Williams. All right. Ms. Livingston, anything from the Chancery Clerk's office?
I have two things. I just need to get a board order to approve the recapitalization that I need to send to the department.
So move.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign. Motion passed unanimously.
And then one more, that we have no debt for September, the funds remain at 10.819% for Citizens Bank.
No, no.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning that motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign. Motion passed unanimously. All right.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Livingston. County Business Administration.
Sign up where your number is. Just show me, I was just gonna show you.
Payroll charges,
Payroll changes.
first week in October, your payroll.
Orlando signed it in the wrong place.
I make motion for approval.
Second.
All right. The motion, yeah, over me, so I apologize for that.
Yeah.
I was in the wrong place. Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Other questions on the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign.
Was there any more that weren't in here? This is all of it.
What I know.
Like Robert Elmore was added after the fact, he's coming back as a bailiff, and might not have this. Second thing I've got is the renewal of the case management nurses contract with, Total Planning and Development District for this fiscal year.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning that motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign. Motion passed unanimously.
They'll sign it with your name, above your name.
Toby has requested, 911 name of Ridgeway Drive, it's out in, District 2.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Howard, are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign. Motion passed unanimously.
We got, Irish Water Association is requesting an under road bore on John High Road.
You have a lot of these, Mr. Klein approving these,
Yes, Mr. Clyde approved all of these.
all of them. Okay. Motion for approval.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion?
We're gonna do them all together, or? See John High,
County Lake, Bluff Lake, and Oxford Road. Y'all want to do them all together?
Yeah.
You good with it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, everybody in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign. Motion passed unanimously.
Okay. Got a request to play Morton Construction, $469,838.47 for soil cementing of various county roads.
So move.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Then we got several invoices here under number 8 for Preferred Engineering. Thompson Road, County Lake Road, Sun Creek Bridges, both the other Sun Creek Bridge, Longview Aderton Road, and County Lake Jam Road. Each of the amounts are listed out there.
Okay.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate vote sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Ms. Capanella has left with me, and I put a copy on in front of your chair here today. Her contract for continuity of operation plan that she's updated. We need to get, it approved, and each supervisor has to sign it.
So move.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign. Motion passes unanimously.
When we were out on, Prather Road, we apparently did some damage or caused some damage at Theotis Weaver's property. One thing that, and I have pictures that he brought by, he said that we, like, while we put the cross drain in, ran up under his building and made something that holds his building up collapsed, and now his building needs to be lifted up so he can put blocks back under it. In addition to that, he had a plow out there, and he said our person picked it up and threw it down in a hole and damaged his plow. And what he is requesting is for us to come out and help him by picking up his building so he can put blocks back in. And then, I don't know what we can do about his plow.
It's in the ditch.
No, the plow's covered up with
They
dirt.
threw the plow in the ditch, and then after the road was completed, the next person that went out there and worked took it out of the ditch for him. But apparently,
I'd like to speak to the
Okay.
damage of the building.
uh-huh.
We did create a drainage, and we ran water straight to his building, so we were flooding out his building.
Who built that road? County or another company? County?
And later on, the county did, after so much raining took place, we realized that, that drainage needed to be turned around and ran out a different direction. So we did change the direction of that drainage, and, could have possibly caused some damage. I think that's a small request. He's not requesting any monetary damages, for the building. He just wants to, get the pillars, back up under the building, concrete pillars back up under it. So I think that's a small request for that. I'm gonna motion for approval that we go out and have him lift his building back up.
Still like, let's see here.
I second that.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Howard, discussion.
All right, how far off of the easement are we, and are we gonna need to really do?
We have to get an easement agreement, now we did run water.
Managed it. We put the cover in so the water ran straight down up under his
Yeah,
building
under his
and knocked the
building.
blocks down.
It's flooded his building out and knocked those blocks down.
That was after we.
Is this the
took
same
plow
plow or
up.
different plow? Cause it's covered here.
Well, they took, that's what, one of it's where AC took it out of the hole and set it back on the ground.
You know, the county does so much work. You're gonna make a mistake here now and then.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, go back and fix your mistake. That's no different than what we just voted on with the mailboxes.
However, we will be entering on county property to lift this man's building up.
You
and
mean
I-
private property, yeah. Yeah,
Private
so
property.
we need to get a
So
right
I
of
need to
entry.
get a board order before I,
Okay.
tell them to go on private property and lift this building up.
The building is so close, the pictures are so close. When you say a building, what kind of, is this like a storage shed? Is
It is.
It's a storage shed.
I mean, it's just so close to.
Right. Well, we flooded that storage shed out.
He's
The
not
way, the
asking
way the
for-
cover was put in, and again, he's not requesting any monetary damages. He just want us to, put the bricks back up under the building.
I move we allow the county to go in and make the repairs to the building.
We already got a motion.
Got a
We already got a
motion.
motion.
Okay.
Any more discussion on it? All those in favor, let me know by the pro vote. Any opposed? Same. Motion passed unanimously.
You have in your packet, the final inventory report's been, turned in, and you have in your packet the addition and deletion list for the 2019 fiscal year. I need to get an order to accept those.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard, any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let me know by the pro vote. Motion passed unanimously.
credit card charges in the amount of $528.68 and the bill is paid off.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate vote sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Claims number 4750 through 4891 and 001 through 268 in the amount of $2,806,437.75. In order to pay bills.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate vote sign. All those opposed, same sign. Go with recusal. And legal. Motion passes, 4-0. 4-0-1.
One.
No, it was recused. It wasn't no.
4-0?
Right.
Okay, let's go on. That's it.
All right. Supervisor Miller, you have anything else you need to bring to the board? Supervisor Williams?
Yes, I have some things to bring forward.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of flooding in this area, and I know you all are familiar with it because the fire department and emergency vehicles have been called on the scene for some of these flood out areas. And I'm glad that we are bringing Tom Bigby River Valley Water Management District on board. So I want to make a request that they visit these flooded sites, and give us some kind of information as to what is causing the problem. And I want to give you a list of these sites. One of them is 1726 Old Highway 25 South. Starting at that address, that creek starts to flood out at that address. Starts to flood out at 1726 Old Highway 25 South. Creek starts to flood out there. And on Mount Olive Road, we get a lot of flooding out at 1948. And all these areas get underwater. People's property and people's houses pretty much get underwater at these locations. Hillbrook, because of the storm, I'd like them to look at that and see whether or not we can finish getting debris out of the Hillbrook area that hadn't been removed from that creek. There's also a creek on Sullivan Road. On Sullivan Road that flooded some families out. At the last storm on Sullivan Road. My last one is I had the opportunity to ride down Hollis Creek all the way down to all the way pretty much to the refuge. That creek, Hollis Creek, is the one that's bagging up all of this water. Started on Blocker Road, at the Blocker Road Bridge, and when you start going down from Blocker Road Bridge on down in that area, you can see where private landowners are pulling out piles of trees out of that creek, and it's pushing water backward and keeping water from flowing freely. The water's trying to get through Hollis Creek. It's trying to get through Hollis Creek onto Noxubee, but it's having problems with that. So I'd like to see a review. Of Hollis Creek starting at Blocker Road Bridge. traveling down to starting at Blocker Road Bridge, traveling down to the, refuge.
I guess.
And I can see,
the way
I can see some
understand-
pictures of,
Yeah.
I can see some pictures of this flood out area, and, you see what's taking place.
I guess, from what I understand, once they come into the county, they will go out and take a look at all drainage issues all over the county, and then compile, I think that's the way that thing is gonna work. I think they'll come in and wherever there's some drainage issues, each supervisor will take them and let them look at where they got some drainage problems.
Right, and that's good, but I'm just calling attention to the one that people's houses are flooded out. And these are ones that need immediate attention.
When will we have a contract that they've supported us or given us something? Because right now, I mean, that's who would be.
They sent you something, they emailed me something, and you too, that you need to look, that you were supposed to look over and look at the law. And then.
Whether or not they could do something.
What projects can and can't be done.
Ah,
We need
okay,
to look
right.
about us coming in
So,
and.
I just want to review these projects and see what they can do or what they cannot do.
Well, I don't think we can sign a contract, I mean, period, right now. I mean, this is kind of just where we're at. But let me look at it. But I think this is one of the specifically, these are some of the ones we want to look at and make sure they're looking at.
That's right. I hate to see these homes keep getting flooded out. And some of you might have the same, similar problem,
I
but
got some back
but I-
over, around Sun Creek over there.
Blue Cut and Bluefield Road, I'll mention that.
Anything else, Supervisor Williams?
Well, I can, let's see. Yes, I have something else. The waste management want us to get a count of the houses that we have in Occidental County. So that's by district, so we have to report that. They reporting that we have, 9,523 houses, and getting ready to bill us for 9,523 houses. We report that we have 7,611 houses. So there's about 2,000 houses of difference. But we will have to, if we can't justify that we really don't have that many, they will start billing us for that particular number. So we need to make a report. I see someone put something here that gave me some numbers here.
I gave each supervisor, one of those. And again, Supervisor Williams was at that meeting. I unfortunately wasn't able to make that meeting, but that's what I asked Mayor Ann to email me. And I really can't tell you that I can decipher that. I'll have to get back with her and let her tell me exactly what this is. But as Supervisor Williams said, they did a house count in Occidental County, and they came up with the number. Well, they wanted to immediately start billing us, but Supervisor Williams told them, no, we need to give us the opportunity to bring this back to our board and give the supervisors.
So they want us to go out.
Whatever they've been out and counted, so they got a number. If we don't think that's right, cause what they what the deal is, they gonna start billing us for that 9,000 number. Which means, I guess we're only building residents in the county for 7,000, whatever the number is, which means they are losing money and we're losing money also at that. But if they start billing for what they counted,
They'll make money.
we're gonna have to verify and then start building these other 2,000 residents in order to offset the cost.
Could you request that, when you contact the back, please to break it down by district?
I asked her that, but that's
And
what
the
I
reason-
requested, but.
And the reason why I said if we're gonna have to go in our own district, and we can go back to the Golden Triangle Planning Development and see what, in each district, what's being charged, then we can see which districts have the largest, amounts of discriminate,
I know, no,
discrepancy, yeah.
Oh, we
I did, but she couldn't, she did it by routes. The route that they ran, that's when they counted. So they really didn't have it broken down. I requested that, but they really didn't have it broken down by districts, cause that's what I wanted. But,
Is there
Ms.
a way to
Emily
get
is
with, is
saying
there a way to get with Golden
that-
Triangle?
OB is supposed to have some information available today about the maps and the number of addresses and houses or roads.
okay.
And so I hope we can pick that up today and get that to y'all.
Well, I mean, this is a good time to have a full discussion on buildings, the amount of people, you know. It's just, it's a good time to do that. But they want us to go on and try to get it done, you know, because now that they've counted, they ready to start building.
And I'm glad that they came out and got a count of our houses. And we're having full discussion on that. Do they have time to go out and see how many of these cans are broken, no lids, no wheels? And could they, while they're going out to get these house counts, could they try to replace or fix some of these themselves? I've asked you that in the past.
Yeah.
Because they got time to go out and I understand where they're at, but to go out and get these counts and us to pay these bills or to get an accurate home count, and we'll pay them. But, and I hate to keep going back to the contract. Contract says maintenance of replacement of these cans, and we took it on ourselves to keep these cans up. No problem with that, just out of sheer necessity, but could they, and I'll keep hammering it, can they live up to their end of the contract? If we're gonna live up to our end of it, and they're gonna make us do it, can they go out and do that? That would certainly be in other words, for what we're paying and what customers in Oktibbeha County are paying, I would like the service to reflect that. And that's all I'd ask. And I don't mind asking it again. They need to do that. If in other words, from 7,600 houses to 9,500 homes, the growth that's happening in Oktibbeha County, we require more cans. We require more maintenance of them, and that should go back on solid waste. They should make provisions to come out and maintain these cans. So that's my stump speech for the day on that. If they're gonna do that to us, and I would ask that of them.
Okay. Well,
And that would
you
clear
know,
up me questioning whether we deliver.
Just saying, if they would live up to the contract, then
That's
we
right.
wouldn't be having the discussion of
Discussions, that's
who's
correct.
doing the cans, who's taking care of the cans. They're the ones that we write the check out to. And I'll be honest with you, any other contract that I've ever been involved with, if you don't do that, that can be considered a breach of contract. I don't wanna get into all that, but I'm just asking, requesting nicely, if they could help out on that.
This is,
let me say this, first of all, we've got 2 members on that executive board, so we are part of them.
Right, I'm
We
asking.
are part of them, and I think that was an effort made, there's a contract, and if you've got a contract, the contract binds you to what the contract says. That was an effort once, I remember, before Miss Betty left, when this count came up about replacing garbage cans, and it was so many garbage cans that they went out and identified until it just took all of our garbage cans. And I remember we got a little bit of complaint about all of these garbage, now we don't have garbage cans. That contract is in place, but now, I'm gonna continue to deliver mine, because you can't, I don't think the contractor's gonna allow you, if you got one person needed, every time one person calls, they're gonna grab a garbage can. They probably wait until a certain amount, and I don't want my people having to sit there and wait until that time when they go out, deliver, because the contract doesn't say every time we call, you gotta go pick up a garbage can. It's gonna be worded somewhere where it's sensible to say, well, when we get 10 garbage cans need delivered, then we'll go deliver them. But
See, used to, yeah, they deliver, I think it was 20 or 30. In other words, they put so many on that truck. And if that week you were number 23 on the list, or I can't remember if it was 20 or 30. In other words, they could only do so many, and they'd send somebody out, I think, on a Friday or a Saturday.
yeah,
But,
you know,
it's just a
again,
thought.
we
I'm
can
just
look
gonna
into
say,
it, but I think
send it back
if
to
we
them.
allow them to start, like before, if we allow them to start grabbing garbage cans, it's gonna run us out of garbage cans so quick until.
Well, now they do, I have recently, had people to say that their garbage can is gone.
Yeah.
Well, it was
Right,
broken,
when they pick up.
it was broken, this and that, and I've asked in the past to not do that. In other words, don't leave, it may be a broken can, but when someone shows up and there's no can, you know,
That's been one of my pet peeves.
and I think there's ways of solving it, but I think there's got to be some give and take on both sides. And, like I said, I don't wanna get on the stump for too long, but that is something that they could do and do better.
Well, what this board needs to do, once and for all, sit down, make a list of things that you want to see, and see how it compares with the contract. Then send your 2 representatives during their meeting to speak with that executive board about what we want that we are not getting, or what we just need, if that contract that we are under right now is still valid, if it needs some upgrading, if it needs some tweaking, some changing, we just need to send a document, instead of just sort of, this supervisor want this and this one want that. Prepare you a document of what it is that you want, and let us present it. Then we can go forward. But right now, we just, sort of just sending a message here and sending a message there. That's not gonna be the way to get.
Do y'all still meet on the third Thursday?
Yeah, every Thursday.
I'll have you something about it.
Okay,
And I'll
but
write it
I
down.
would like for something to come from this board,
Okay.
not an individual supervisor. I would like a document that comes from the board with a majority vote. Then we move forward, we get something done.
Can we bring that's an idea.
Yeah.
Can we bring the 21st and maybe everybody bring your different ideas, we
Yeah.
throw them in the hat?
Or even just give
I
them,
think so.
Ms. Garrett, as we just put on our
I think so.
comments in the letter. And just send it to them. How about that?
And while you're doing it, address, we got this number on the table right now, though, which means if we have in fact risen to this number, that means we're gonna need more garbage cans ordered, which is gonna cost more. So we got several things we're gonna have to talk about, in this deal. That's why I say it's time for a discussion on garbage cans, building, the whole kit and caboodle. I think it's time to do that.
Supervisor Montgomery, would you be okay if they pick your trash can up, contact you to let you know that they picked
That'd be
it up?
fine, yeah. I even said if you picked a can up at 100 Main Street, whatever the address,
Right.
that as long as I got a text even, just a, hey, you need a new can and such like, that's fine. I don't have, I hate getting a call at 5:30 on a Friday and somebody's got a birthday party on Saturday and your can, cause my pickup is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So late in the week, in the afternoon, they see a can that's demolished and they take it, it needs to be gone. Then that person is a little blindsided, I'm blindsided, as to, that afternoon or whatever. So sure, they'll just send some notification.
Well, I think, and Mr. Benny's been good when they've missed routes, when you contact him directly, he's been good to go back and make sure they get it picked up. I'll be the same way. It would be nice to know when they do, because that seems to happen a lot more on Friday afternoons, it seems like, than any other afternoons for me too. Is, when somebody calls and says when they got home, hey, my garbage can was gone when I got home.
Just to give y'all an update, on sort of the change that took place. They started paying them they were gonna get paid, they're getting paid for 11 hours a day regardless. So that was sort of an incentive for them to go ahead, run the route, get the trucks back in, so they could keep maintenance up on the vehicles, and they wouldn't be breaking down on the road and things like that. Now, how well that's working right now, I think that's part of
Well,
what
mine
the
was
problem
courthouse road
is.
construction, and they had just missed it, but for 2 weeks in a
Yeah.
row, because you can get in from both sides, but
Mhm.
they didn't go in. And so, but when I called Mr. Benny, he went in last Friday, he made
Right.
sure that they went in on one end, turned around, came back, and went
Okay,
on the other end, and got the
Benny's always
trash.
Benny is
So-
good, but I think what I'm saying is, you said it seemed to happen more on Friday, I think that might be sort of playing into, that incentive to get out and get back and get gone and, but we'll address all of that. There's been some things that we've done on the board to try to, help the situation, so, but yeah, I definitely agree. And I've gotta say, Mary Ann did for a little bit, when they would pick up a can, I think they called him a few times, and say, hey, we picked up a can from, and.
I got one list.
That works.
Yeah, she would get a
I mean,
list, but,
Maybe once a week or once a week.
right, and we'll get back on that, we'll make, we'll just keep working at it, we'll just keep tweaking.
Supervisor Williams, anything else?
No, I just like the idea that, I want them to pick up a trash can that's been damaged in my district, but I like the idea that Supervisor Montgomery said he wanted to be contacted when that happens, so I think that would be a good
Or
way
maybe
out.
even the week before that they're gonna get it the next week, so you can replace it before.
We're gonna get this can
Next
next
week,
Thursday.
next Thursday, we're gonna pick up.
No, I don't have anything else,
Supervisor Howard, you have anything?
I'm done.
Supervisor Miller?
Well, this pertains to mine and Supervisor Howard. We just had, County Lake, Road done and Thompson Road done. And I just echoed to our road managers just to, those roads, when we can sweep them off, and I mentioned that to them.
Attorney Robbins, you have anything?
I've got, a couple of things that we need to handle in executive session. The one thing that I did have was the issue about the garbage cans at, Tompkins and but I think y'all basically discussed everything that was needed to be discussed, so I'm good.
Okay, let's go.
One of the issues is a personnel issue that we're dealing with in the road department. The other is a little justice court deal that we need to discuss as well we're being sued in the justice court for some damage done on the properties.
So we need to go into executive session of possible litigation.
Possible litigation.
I'll make a motion.
I do have one other thing before we go into executive session. The Alzino Road situation with the bus turnaround, that's a pretty unique situation. The bus turnaround is beyond the damage of that road, and it's gonna be difficult for a bus to get to the bus turnaround. Alzino is not a county road. It's not a county road. So I'm asking for the board to allow Mr. Baggett permission to look into what will be necessary to have the bus to travel down to the bus turnaround site. The bus has to actually get to the bus turnaround site.
Bus turnaround,
Alzino Road.
That's good. What needs to be done?
Well, we have already approved it as a bus turnaround site, so
we
need to give Mr. Baggett permission to go ahead on and resolve the problem.
So we just want him to repair the road to the bus
To the
turnaround.
bus turnaround, that's what we want him to do.
Well, you already really have if you got a bus turnaround.
We already have it, yes.
I mean,
But I
the
just
school requested, we approved it with all the other turnaround.
We approved the bus turnaround. So whatever is necessary to be able to repair the bus turnaround situation. And think Mr. Bagger with light of everything that's going on and people being reluctant to move forward, we got clarification that it's okay to move forward with that situation.
You got a heavy wagon today, I'll give you that.
So we got a motion by Supervisor Montgomery to go into executive session, we have a second. Second by Supervisor Howard, other questions on the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign. Motion passed. All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes, so. Let's do this one, but I take it back, let's do it free. That's too funny. All righty, but none of that, do we have anything else, man, for the board, before we close? All right, let's get a, we need to set an adjourned meeting, don't we have something? Twenty-first, any particular time frame?
What's the 21st?
It's our third Monday.
Third Monday.
Is y'all kids got some activities in the
Five
evening? Okay.
Not,
5:30.
Okay, we're gonna recess to the 21st at 5:30. Can you get a motion second for that? Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Howard. All those in favor, let me know by the clerk vote for that. We certainly appreciate y'all being here. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy.